Have you ever wondered what ohms are? Have you ever wanted to start vaping but you didn't have enough knowledge about it, or you didn't know exactly what to get? Well, all of that ends today. Hey, this is Chris. Welcome back to Chris's Dip Review, and today I have an instructional video for you guys on vaping for beginners. Now, this is going to be a kind of four-part video talking about 4 different basic things to do with vaping and vaping for beginners. And before I start, I'm going to give you guys my backstory on vaping, and if my camera would focus. All this vape is making my camera not focus. Now, like I said, before I get started, I'm going to give you guys my backstory. I personally started vaping about, 4 years ago. I was smoking a lot of cigarettes. I was smoking about 2 packs of cigarettes, chewing a can a day, and vape has totally helped me get off of tobacco entirely, and now I only vape 3 milligram juice. Like I said, I have vaped for 4 years, and in those 4 years I've done a lot of research, tried to build a lot of knowledge, and yeah, I like to think that I have pretty good knowledge about vaping. So first thing that you guys are going to want to understand about vaping is ohms and ohms law. Now, I can't quite explain the entire theory of ohms law and everything to you guys, but I will try and find something online and post it in the description to kind of better explain to you, but I'm going to kind of give you guys the basics. Now, whenever you build a coil or do anything with electricity, it's going to have a resistance called an ohm. And the ohm is the resistance made off by the wire, and it's basically how much power it takes to heat that wire and to heat the coil. Now, the higher the ohm is going to generally be, the lower the gauge the wire, and it's going to be a smaller coil, excuse me. And the lower the ohm is generally going to be bigger clouds and bigger coils. Like this DNA box that I'm running here is running at 0.34 ohms, and I'm running it at 50 watts right now. So as you can see, the lower your ohm gets, and you don't even really got to get that low, to be honest with you guys, but like I said, the lower your ohm gets, generally the bigger your clouds get and the bigger your vape gets, but also the more money and more power that's going into it. So you can't just take a simple mech mod or a small, little 118/650 box, cheap box, and just run, a super low sub-ohm build in it. That's basic knowledge, for electricity. If you know electricity, you can't take and, try and power a whole computer based off a little tiny battery, a AA battery. It just won't work. And it's the same thing with vaping. You need to have enough power to be able to power your coils and be able to get your hits out. So ohms is something that you're going to need to understand. It's going to be something that you're going to need to research a little bit outside of this video, and I apologize. I'm not real good at explaining the ohm stuff. But yeah, so now that we got all that ohm stuff down, it's time to talk about mods versus pens versus e-cigs. Now, if you started vaping a little while ago like I did, or if you've seen vapes, generally the most common type of vape used to be, and not so much anymore, but was an e-cig. Now, an e-cig consists of 2 parts generally, a atomizer and a cartomizer. This is what contains your coil, your cotton, and your juice, and this is your battery. So they just screw together. They're basic, they're simple, and they're cheap. And that's the good side of them. The bad side of them is they're finding a lot of chemicals in them. You never really know what's in them. They don't produce great vapor. So my advice to you guys would be stay away from the e-cigs. Now, the pens, like the EVOD, the Vision Spinner, all those little batteries, single batteries, they're okay if you want to, get started and get a feeling for what vaping may be like. If you don't think you're interested, or know if you're interested in vaping, you don't want to go and spend, $100 on a mod, or, $50 on a mod, then you're going to want to start with something like that. Generally, you can pick up a beginning, refillable EVOD kit for around $10 to $20 based on where you live, what store you go to, etc. But generally, an EVOD kit costs around $10 to $20 and will give you a basic vaping experience. Now we got to talk about the bigger stuff, mods. And before I talk about that, I'm going to get a real quick vape here, guys. I am dripping some of, I believe it's called Deuce Liquor is the name of the juice. Anyways, my friend Brady owns it. It's going to be starting out big. He's selling it at a great price, $10 for 30 milliliters. So as soon as it's available to the public, I will let you guys know so you can jump on it. I believe this is some blackberry custard pie. Now to talk about mods. Generally, if you are a newer vapor or a beginning vapor, you're going to start out with a smaller mod such as this. This is the Kinger sub box. I actually have my tank taken off in an RDA on here because this can run an RDA. And this is the box that I would recommend to you guys if you are going to start vaping or would like to see what vaping's all about and want to get a mod. This is definitely the box that I would recommend to you guys. Now, I am not sponsored by Kinger or anybody in any way. This is my honest opinion to you guys. The Kinger sub box, it's very reliable. I always keep it, handy, keep it with me, in my car or whatever, in case my DNA box goes out, in case any of my other boxes go out. It's basically my good old reliable. It's a great mod. It's very reasonably priced. You don't need a charger. All you need is the mod and a battery. It's basic, guys. It's got pass-through charging. It's got a sub tank with it. It's got everything you guys need but a battery and juice. It's about $50 for the kit. It comes with a tank, a box, and a RBA deck for rebuilding the tank if you get into building like with an RDA, which I will mention here in a minute and explain here in a minute. But it's got basically everything you need to start vaping. So I will post the link to that in the description in case you guys are interested in that. And I will also post the link to a safe battery in the description because not all batteries are safe. Not all batteries are created equal. And if you guys are going to buy a battery, definitely do your research. Now, generally with mods, you're going to be using an RDA or a sub tank. Now, when you're starting out, I would highly recommend buying the sub tank, which comes with actually the Kinger sub box. They're very easy. All you have to do is screw in the coil, prime it with a little juice, and fill it up, and it's ready to go. It's real simple and it's real easy. But if you want to start getting into more of the cloud chasing and more of the advanced stuff, you're going to want an RDA. Now, once you start getting into the RDAs, why I recommend the Kinger sub box is it actually ohms down to, I believe it's 0.4 or 0.3. So you can build pretty decent. You can build a single Clapton on this deck, on the RDA, on this sub box mini. So it actually gives you a pretty good experience, being able to use RDAs and sub tanks on your beginning mod. Now, the last thing we need to talk about is juice. And this is very important because this is one of the things that can majorly affect your health and affect your vaping experience. Rule number one of vaping and vape juice is never buy any juice from China. You never really know what's in it. It's cheap and it's generally just crap. Honestly, the Queerette juice, any of those, those made in China, you see them at the gas station, you see them everywhere. You don't want to pick those up, guys. Those are not, what you're going to be wanting for your mod. One company that I would recommend who makes very reasonably good juice and reasonably good quality at a very reasonable price is Vape Wild. They are, I believe, all made in a sterile lab environment for all you people who are, all about that. They're a sterile lab environment. They're very reasonably priced and they have really good customer service. So check them out at vapeloud.com. I'll leave them in the description as well if you guys are looking for some reasonably priced e-juice. Like I said, I'm not sponsored by them. But anyways, like I said, never buy anything from China. And the other thing that you're going to want to know with your juice is there's a blend in your juice, right? There's 4 things in juice: flavoring, VG, PG, and nicotine. Now, the blend that makes the juice and makes the actual clouds is the VG and the PG, or vegetable glycerin and propylene glycol. And the blend of that is what's going to make the clouds. Higher VG is higher clouds, higher PG is higher throat hit. Personally, I like to stick to higher VG as I find the juice is smoother It produces bigger clouds and it lasts longer because it's more of like a syrupy kind of juice. And generally, higher quality juices are going to be higher VG blends. Generally, the lower quality juices will use a lot more PG because it's cheaper. It makes the juice burn faster, so people will buy more of it. So generally, higher PG juices aren't going to be as good of quality as higher VG juices. Now, this is generally speaking. Of course, there are some, high PG juices that are very good quality, but this is generally speaking. So, to sum everything up, guys, stay away from Chinese-made juice. I would recommend higher VG juice. Stay away from the little tiny e-cigs. Definitely stay away from unregulated or mechanical mods if you guys are new. Definitely try and get something regulated. Like I said, the Kanger Subbox is a great starting mod, and I will link that down below. Anyways, I hope I helped you guys out. If you have any additional questions or comments, throw them down. I will get back to you guys as soon as possible. I usually respond within a couple hours. But anyways, I hope you guys like this video. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe, and have a great day, y'all.